Hello everybody, Mike Welsch coming to you once again from the backstretch at Churchill Downs with the Daily Racing Form Kentucky Derby Workout Report, brought to you by Spendthrift, the home of Into Mischief, who has sired 2 Kentucky Derby winners. Will be looking for his 3rd this year with several chances: Rocket Can, Sun Thunder, who we will talk about later, and perhaps Cyclone Mischief, who is getting a little closer and closer now to drawing into the race. Another frigid morning here at Churchill Downs. The temperature actually dipped down to 34 at one point this morning, and windy as well, so a little uncomfortable out here, but the forecast is for warmer weather as we proceed later into the week. We're hoping to shoot this video this morning at the barn of Steve Asmussen, who really had the #1 star of training hours here this morning, but a little too hectic there still. So we're going to give you a little backstretch view of the grandstand here today. But the SARM was the lone Derby worker today, and he was very, very impressive. And we've talked about him the past couple of days. I like the way I'd seen from him galloping in the morning, and today he had a pretty serious work, surprising in a bit, because he only ran 9 days ago in the Lexington, but trainer Steve Asmussen decided the Derby, it's the Derby, you gotta get serious, and he did today with the SARM. He worked 5 furlongs in company. He had Joel Rosario aboard. He broke off a length behind his mate, took a little dirt on the turn, got even in early stretch, and then pulled away when asked a little bit to finish. I had a 5 furlongs in 59-4. Now the opening 1/8 of a mile was 13-1, so doing the math, that's 46-3 for the last half mile. He was about 2.5, 3 in front at the wire, and continued on strongly into the turn, galloped out 113-1 and 126-3. Now I'm not here at Churchill Downs that often. I'm not that familiar with the racetrack, but it has seemed to me that since the rain a couple of days ago, it hasn't been lightning fast the past couple of mornings. It's quick, it's fast, but not anything that is over the top fast. So I thought this was a very good move for the SARM, and we'll just continue to monitor him, but he is certainly doing well coming out of the Lexington, where he finished 3rd to qualify to get enough points to get into the Derby field. Now, I mentioned Sun Thunder before. I liked him, what I saw from him this morning. He opened gallop today. He was way better than the 2-minute lick. He came down this stretch very strongly. First thing you notice, blinkers on. He was wearing blinkers today. He has not raced in blinkers. I don't believe he is trained in blinkers. I think today might have been the first morning, but I hear he's going to work in blinkers perhaps over the weekend and maybe run in the Derby with blinkers on. But he certainly looked good today. He galloped down the stretch, continued at that clip, 14-1, 14-2, 8th miles, all the way around the turn before pulling up on the backstretch around the 5/8 pole for a good morning by Sun Thunder. One of the horses he passed readily down the stretch was Continular, the Japanese horse, who was galloping as well. Again, not the prettiest way of going. I saw that yesterday. Same thing today. Now the other Japanese horse, Derma Sadagaki, I saw he came out on the track with Continular at 10 minutes to 7. I'm not exactly sure when Continular went off, but Derma Sagataki did not leave the track until 8:15. By my math, that's an hour and 25 minutes of training this morning. Most of that time was spent up in the mile chute, like the Japanese horses tend to do. But he also came over to the main track and galloped 2 miles today, and he just looked a little out of kilt. He came down the stretch the first time, tossing his head, switching his leads. Second time around, a little bit better, but still more of the same. Again, this is a horse I'm not familiar with. I've never really seen him do much in the morning, obviously, or even here. Like I said, most of his time is spent up in that chute. You can't see what they do there because of that new grandstand that was built that you maybe can see off to the side here. So he's still nothing confirmed about when he might work again, or might work. He actually had a half-mile work last week that was sort of a work. So we'll wait to hear on that later in the week. Todd Pletcher had all his Derby horses out during the special session today, including Tapit Trice again, who has not had a day off since his big work last Friday. Forte was back to the track today. Kings Barnes was there, and even Major Dude, who was still about 4 spots down. He's probably going to wind up in the American Derby. He was out during the Derby time. And Brad Cox, he had Angel of Empire out early this morning, before 6 o'clock. I think it was even earlier than that, maybe about 5:30. I spotted him, and the rest of his contingent came out during the special Derby session. I like Wild on Ice this morning. I know he's going to be a big long shot, and I'm not advocating him by any means, but he sure has looked good in the morning. Yesterday, I noted how he went at a pretty slow pace, but a steady pace. Neck bow just kind of cantering around there. This morning, he went at a quicker clip. I timed every 8 at about 16-3, 16-4. Again, with that neck bow, he just looked real good, and he went about 2 miles. I'm not exactly sure where he started. I know he came by me twice at the finish line, so I thought it was a good morning for Wild on Ice, and I think he's going to have his final Derby work sometime later this week. Still haven't seen confidence gain. Now, this is the horse that last ran on February 25th and hasn't worked since April 14th. I did hear he was out early this morning without his towel, so kind of hard to spot when they're amongst the general population like that. So we're still going to keep an eye on what happens with him and see if there's going to be a work schedule. He's going to need one more work if he's actually going to run in the Derby. If he does happen to come out, that'll be good news for Dale Romans and Cyclone Mischief. That'll put him even one spot closer to getting in the Derby lineup. So that's about it for today. Again, things will be slow the next few mornings as far as workouts and that stuff. But then Thursday, Friday, Saturday, that'll be the big day. So you keep it right here, DRF.com, the best coverage of Kentucky Derby, Kentucky Oaks 2023.